All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nothing But the Game. This is episode 14, right? Episode 14 of the official Nothing But the Game podcast. And we have we got a really good show today. We are in the middle of covering our first official Devy Best Ball League, the Nothing But the Game Devy Best Ball League. We are in the middle of a draft right now, so we're going to be talking about that, probably sharing a little bit of our draft strategy, right? You know?
Hopefully not too much.
That's the whole point.
You know?
You got to peel back the curtain, even if it maybe leaves you vulnerable a little bit.
But before we jump into anything further, I just want to talk about our charity event for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So you can find the link for our charity page in the description of the video here. And again, if this is your first time tuning in, this just means everything to us. It really just it hits on a different level for us. CJ, Evan, and I we're all veterans, and it really hits home. So the more awareness we could bring, the better. And with that being said, let's jump into tonight's show. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes. Good evening, Fitz. How's the vacay, by the way, or the mini getaway?
Oh, it's going. What is that? Vacation stay or a staycation? It's a staycation. Yeah. We're not really doing anything crazy. We're just hitting up all the local areas, getting stuff done around the house. I cleaned the garage yesterday. I know that doesn't sound like very vacation-y, but it was definitely something that needed to be done. Evan, you look like you're coming from
I am
Jason Voorhees' backyard.
Is that still Oregon?
I'm
Camp Crystal
middle
Lake.
of scouting out tribes out in Amazon right now, so
okay.
lucky I got signal. Yeah. No, I'm out in the Oregon area, so anybody following us or listening out on this West Coast, this is my first time up here. It is every single time. I'm hoodie in the middle of summer. I'm from Texas, where they're hitting 100 degrees right now, and I think we capped out at 60 where I'm at. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a shock, but it's gorgeous.
It sounds beautiful. Listen, I'm all about that, man. It's like 90 today here in Buffalo, and they put out a warning, hottest day of the year so far. Everyone's just like, oh my god, like.
Yeah, don't miss that by any means.
Yeah.
All I see on there is on my family and friends Facebook stuff is the Texas Energy letting people know that they need to keep their AC at 80 something to keep the grid from going down. It's ridiculous. It's crazy, but neither. It's not that exciting stuff to talk about though. Not as exciting as I feel funny too. We're going to try to comment and talk about and hopefully get some action here, but a slow draft, which I know isn't the most fun play-by-play conversation topic.
Yeah, but all right, so it's not. However, I think it's an extremely fun draft so far, dude. The anticipation is killing me. You know what I mean? I get to put so much thought into my draft strategy. So, yeah, it's
This is both y'all's first Devy draft?
Yes.
So, and I know we haven't hit the Devy side yet, and this is my first doing the best ball Devy combo. It definitely adds a little bit of a twist.
The most fun for me, so.
Oh yeah. So what it's been like, I guess, on this aspect, because I know y'all have done Dynasty and everything, so the Devy part won't come until later. But with this draft? You said it's been more exciting, interesting. I've actually had a couple other comments just from texting people and whatnot. They're like, this draft is kind of throwing me off, throwing me for a loop a little bit.
Right? It's definitely not normal. With the quarterbacks.
We got Mike comments in too. Mike says that he loves the slow drafts. He says it gives you the most time to think about what it is you're doing. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just the piggyback off of Mike's comment there. Like that's been the most fun part for me. Like we started the draft last night, and I'm laying in bed at like 12:30, dude. You know, realizing that nobody's drafting, right? Like we didn't start the clock yet, nothing like that. But I'm just like, oh man, like these first 2 rounds were wild, and they were wild in the sense that like we have what 1, 2, 3. I mean, here, I'm gonna transition over here. I'm just gonna kind of show our draft to anybody that's tuning in here. So.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first 5 picks was quarterbacks.
The first 5 picks were quarterbacks, and like, yes, this is a super flex, you know, and it just shows you.
Yeah, nothing too insane there.
No, but I mean, so we have 14 rounds going, and hey, Mike is fantasy OG. Mike is fantasy OG. Hey.
Oh, hey,
Mike,
you can pick on the show, man.
Man, you get to make your selection on the show. How's that sound? We got it streaming live. You're on the clock. Go for it, brother.
you get to make it live. No pressure.
No pressure at all, man. No pressure at all. Derek Carr's sitting there though, and I know you need another quarterback.
Says the guy with.
This says the guy with no quarterbacks.
Exactly. I mean, that's all of us.
Yeah. None of us have a quarterback here, so. I mean, let's just. I guess to just kind of dive right into it. You know, just to peel back the layers a little bit, like you were saying, Evan. Like, what was? There you go. OG.
Oh, he heard the call to action.
He heard the call to action. I love it.
Oh shoot!
I definitely was thinking about taking Zeke.
OG. Oh man, we got Zeke and Kamara right off the.
Kamara. Both. I was literally about to say those are going to be like a talking point as to how far both of them have fallen. I know in different situations, you know, circumstances, but you go back last year, 2 years ago, like how crazy it's been on these drops. Yeah, I mean, seeing them both go in the early 5th, which is understandable at this point, just because of the suspension looming, and then Zeke and the Pollard question marks. But yeah, that was definitely, I think, potentially massive steals on both those.
Oh, no doubt. Like I thought about taking Kamara with my 4th round pick, and I didn't because of the suspension. But who knows how that's going to play out? So I mean,
yeah,
definitely good value.
The only thing, if it's 6 games up front, that when it like at that 4 range wouldn't bother me, and I was sitting there too whenever I took my guys. But it's the fact that the legal is still going on, and I think his court case isn't set till like August or something like that.
Right.
So who knows if that gets pushed again?
Exactly.
And what if it lingers, and then they can't suspend him until that's done? Well, if he gets first 4 games and then gets suspended for 6 games midway through the season, that's like a worst case scenario. Or if it happens going into your playoff.
I agree 100%. That's why I didn't go.
Obviously, they're taking out of context, all the other stuff that goes on the legal side, just focusing on fantasy wise. That's where it would be the worst case scenario.
For this season,
getting him in the 5th is really good though.
Right. So like on the contrary to that, like getting him in the 5th in this sort of draft, I think is a steal.
Yes.
Right. Even if he faces suspension all season long, like. And then you have really big question marks surrounding New Orleans in general, right? Of like, Kamara could easily move on to another team the following year. You know what I mean? Who knows? This could lead to trade. He ends up in an opportunity, say in like San Francisco or something like that, right? So, I mean, San Francisco is trying to trade Jimmy G right now. They just announced that was announced today, like that they have given. I'm going to have to silence Sleeper. I apologize, folks, if you hear my phone in the background.
I was about to say I might be looking down here because I want to do the commissioner style duties of saying everybody else on the clock, but it looks like everybody's on pace right now. I don't even have to pay attention.
They were saying that only one team has cap space for Jimmy G though, and that's the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Listen. Like our last 2 podcasts have been talking about the Cleveland Browns. I would love not to talk about the Cleveland
Carolina.
Browns. Oh, and
And
Carolina.
Carolina.
And Carolina. So
Yeah, I second that motion to move past those two teams.
That's crazy though. Like,
Yeah.
So, all right, CJ, this question's for you. So Mike, Fantasy OG's asking, like, what is your ideas going into your first Devy?
well, so we did the random derby style, where you pick your actual draft pick. So I wanted to be on the back end, so when it comes Devy time, I can get the stars from college. So I went with the 10th pick. I didn't know quarterbacks was going to go off like that crazy. Like there was 7 quarterbacks gone before I even went up the draft. So I went with who I thought was one of the top receivers in the game, was in Justin Jefferson. And I went off of that. I was going to take Trey Lance in the second, but he went in the first. So I went with the no QB, and I just went with Debo. And then I drafted Darren Waller, and I went with Saquon. And I'm gonna see how the value, pans out against actual taking a QB in a 2 QB super flex. So we'll
Do you
see.
think it'll put an emphasis on you taking a QB on the Devy side a little earlier, just in case to kind of put some insurance?
No
Or
doubt.
I'm just curious, like to go off of what Mike was saying, like what's your
Right,
thought
right.
process
No,
with
it does.
using the Devy side?
If I don't get,
Yeah,
I'm
Mike
not
said.
saying
Mike comments back. Mike said, "Let the board talk to you."
yeah. So like,
Be like water, let it flow.
Let it
Move with it.
that's what I gotta do. Watch people pick
tubular, dude.
in the
Not Keanu Reeves over here. Sorry, keep interrupting you, CJ.
No, I was just saying, if you watch what people picks and how the draft goes, you know what they're going to do in the Devy league. So
All
Yeah.
right.
You can.
Please tell me, elaborate. What do you think I'm going to do in the Devy League?
well, you're right. I don't know about you because you went 2 tight ends in the first 2 rounds. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So
like,
Yeah, I've only ever done it once in a tight end premium, but I was on the back end of the 2, the start of the 3, and I took
Right.
Pitts Kittle combo. But yeah, with the first 2 picks, I haven't seen it either.
I think this is the first time in any draft I've seen that.
so I mean, the thought process. Right, so you're in a QB super flex, right? Your top 5 quarterbacks were the first 5 picks. You know what I mean? At that point, quarterback becomes. We've had this discussion many times, and where my thoughts are on this, right? You have your elite guys. You have your guys that are going to get you your rushing yards. They're going to get you the 6 points for a rushing touchdown. You know what I mean? They are, a super quarterback in terms of fantasy. I mean, after that, it stalemates, dude. It really does. A 20-point game by a quarterback, a 20-point, 25-point game by a quarterback is standard. Give me 2 touchdowns, 250 yards, and you coast. So then you got to find value where you're not gonna. I mean, in terms of this, right? The double tight end. You have the tight end premium.
Right.
Now you're looking at tight ends have the option or the to outscore the boomer bust guys that we were talking about last week. Now they have the potential to outscore a boomer bust guy in any given week, right? I mean, it might not be the same week, but what I'm saying is now you have the absolute consistency there, especially taking top tight end. I mean, Kyle Pitts is a number 1 receiver in Atlanta, no doubt.
And it's going to probably be like that in the next 5 to 7 years, if he stays in Atlanta. So I agree. And I agree with Mark Andrews. I think he's the number 1 option in Baltimore. So
I mean, so now you're looking at like wide receiver 2s, like essentially that's what I got there. Now I have wide receiver 2s, right? You have wide receiver 2s that are consistent. They're going to give me 15 points, or 10 to 15 points on a weekly base. Like those are really good points there. And I just felt like I had to take them over the boomer bust guys. So,
yeah.
And then that's it. That's all I'm revealing today. All right.
I'm just looking
And I think also, I mean,
Mike-
it also
Mike's-
helps
Mike's
too
like-
with it being
Mike goes.
what was it?
Mike goes. Guys, keep talking. The board's moving. It is moving. We're on Dazed and Confused now.
Oh, so
Ooh,
Walker
yeah.
Wilson got drafted, and Godwin.
Chris
Let's go.
Godwin. We're on Nick Knoll. Just shout out to Nick Knoll. He just subscribed to our channel right before we started up today, so we appreciate it.
Yes.
Knoll.
Yeah, and to go back, I know I didn't want to interrupt your flow there with that double tight end side. I know with the premium, it is almost kind of like having an insurance, having that extra half point, like you're saying. So you're increasing that floor to help out.
Yeah, I got it.
There's that two different mindsets when you're kind of coming into a best ball scenario. It's that, go with a bunch of boom or bust type guys, or sticking with like, hey, a lot of just even kill, a lot of middle range guys that are just going to get you the points. Because in a head to head, you just got to make sure that you're consistently outdoing those boomer busts. And which does set up decently for having those tight ends with that extra floor there, and then you can go out and get a lot of those, like you said, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 type guys. It is a fun strategy to go into with. I just like to see, like you said, you won't reveal anymore, but like once we hit 9, 10, 12 rounds, like how does that start to pan out on your roster lineup, like construction?
We will figure it out when we get there. Yeah.
I was trying to get you to give me something, but no, just stonewalled me.
I was gonna over
I'm
under.
so distracted right now trying to keep up with things
guys-
and talk at the same
We
time.
got an over under on when I'm gonna take a running back.
Ooh, yeah. Going the 0 RB mindset there.
Oh, I'm taking like the 0 RB. I mean, I'm like, if I didn't have to roster 2, I would almost go no running back. I mean, that's where I stand at running back. So
Man, I am getting attacked out here.
Were you able to do that trade, Evan?
Oh shoot, I haven't even looked. Sorry, Noel there, if you had sent me anything. I know I not ignoring here.
On you two guys right now, so
Man, yeah. So yeah, I know on my end here, I'm always about trading back if possible, especially in a best ball league. But it also has to make sense. I'm the type of person I don't want to send out a crap offer and try to steal anybody, or not steal anybody, but screw anybody over. I like to at least have a fun, well balanced league, everybody competing in there. But I like to have a lot of those value picks, and I'm glad. I know I had traded out my first round pick and got a third and a fourth. It also gave away my 6th round.
same.
And I'm kind of glad I did that because it took the pressure off of that
Car
QB run. I would have honestly felt that pressure to take a quarterback there, and may have. But after all those went by, like literally right before me, Trevor Lawrence went, which would have been kind of the window I would thought about. I probably would have taken him, and it just completely opened me up to just, all right, just going with my favorite guys that are still on the board here. So
in terms of
yeah,
in terms of quarterback, I haven't taken a quarterback yet, but we've already mentioned the two, like going into the season, and in terms of dynasty wise, right? Like room to grow. I love Trey Lance and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And those were both guys that I wanted to take, and they would have both been available to me where I was at my, like, when I doubled down on tight ends there. I really was kind of, after the first, 7 quarterbacks went there, I was kind of like, okay, it's got to slow down, right? Like, but everyone just seems to be, everyone still jumped on it. I mean, in the first 3 rounds, we have there, Noel took, Evan.
Derek Carr.
Yeah, it looks like the pick is actually on you, Evan.
Yeah, I don't want to jump in on anything here. It is, and I apologize because I'm overviewing a trade. It's really, man, I feel so weird right here because I've got a trade in here from Noel who threw that over to me. Pretty much me moving back to get the 6th and the 9th, and I give him this pick here, and I'd be given this pick and the 11th. I like consolidating, and just to give you my train of thought here on these things, live while I'm determining if I'm going to take a trade or counter. I like to try to gather as much in the top 120. So I don't mind if I'm moving back out of the, if I'm moving out of the top 10, 15, 20 picks, but if I can gather a couple, like a lot in the top 120 in a best ball window. And so I'm having to do quick math in my head here, seeing like what's available. And it's also completely different too because of the value that's left on the board as well. So you can be looking at, hey, if you're taking this, what would be available still in that window as opposed to, what you're giving up. Which is, oh man, I'm probably more stalling than anything else at this point. Because
I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
So I'm trying to. I was just trying to do my research here before I ask this question. So Mike asked, do you guys swing either way on Lance and Lawrence and their average, like the average draft pick of them? Like, do you? Sorry, I think he's like, what is he like?
Well, I'm bigger on Lance than Lawrence.
So in terms of like value as a player, yes, I think I think Trey Lance offers more value at the position than Trevor Lawrence does. But he's asking like where they're going in the draft. So I was trying to look up like where their average without interrupting
their ADP is.
Yeah, so if either one of you guys could actually look it up, like I don't want to interrupt the stream here by pulling up my web browser. Who knows what we're gonna find on there? You know what I mean? But no.
You pick it, I'll do it.
I hope my wife's not watching. That was a joke, babe. So,
and well, and to speak it on it, I don't know what their ADP is. I'm still in the camp of Trevor Lawrence. I know that this situation and everything with Trey Lance, has got a lot more potential. I'm going to be looking at it in regards to that long-term side, and I'm still in that camp of Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I know everybody was he's once in a generation talent. All these different things thrown around, and he has all this accolades to live up to. But when I'm just looking at it in general, like players, I'm assuming they're probably going pretty close to each other. Have you pulled that up, CJ?
Not yet. Hold on.
Well, I'll keep going then.
Right now on Fantasy Pros, they got him listed as the number 10 quarterback, and
he's talking about all right. So in dynasty startups, they typically go within 8 or 4 picks of or of each other either way.
Oh, okay.
And the 12 startups.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing on just draft startups or valuing wise, just either with trades and just in chat boards and whatnot. I would take on that Trevor Lawrence side of things personally, just because I love the overall upside. Trey Lance, I think, has a lot of the exciting ability, but I think the overall value is on the Lawrence side.
So then,
2-3 year value.
To answer your question here, Mike, then I'm going to swing the complete opposite way. I think in terms of value-wise, I think Trey Lance offers more value to the position in terms of fantasy and dynasty. Just with his, I mean, I don't want to. For anybody just tuning in, I'm a diehard, avid Bills fans, and CJ was actually with me when the Bills drafted Josh Allen, and I was really upset. I was sad. I was upset.
I told him to calm down. It's all good.
And now, Josh Allen is absolute. I think in terms of talent at the quarterback position, almost kind of revolutionized like where this league is going, and I think Trey Lance mimics that. I think Trey Lance is in a good organization. John Lynch, the general manager for San Francisco, I think he knows what he's doing there and what he wants to do. And I think, and we've talked about this a few times, Evan, on the show, like organization is everything to these players. And I do not think Jacksonville is a good organization, dude. I don't. And I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence. I really do. But I'm not impressed with. I mean, look at the money that they gave. Dude, they've paid a fortune to guys like Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. Like these guys are talented. Obviously, they're talented because they're in the NFL, right? But none of them bring a level to the wide receiver position as a true number one at all. And they went and paid big for these guys. So it's you still have big question marks around what the organization is doing. So to answer your question, Mike, I swing the other way in terms of quarterbacks. That's so. But Evan, you're still on the clock.
And,
I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I was about to say, for the sake of this, and I apologize, Noel. I want to detail this in there, but I cannot think and do this at the same time. I'm not that multitaskable. I'm going to go ahead and take a pick. I'm actually contemplating it, but I would need more time to actually think about on the trade side. So,
who you taking?
Yeah, well, that's what it's leading up to. I'm gonna break our streak here. Going with yeah, I am. I'm gonna do it just for the hell of it. Oh, what's that head scratch?
I'm on the edge of my seat, dude. So
I thought about taking a QB.
Huh?
I thought about taking the QB myself.
Nick,
did you? Well, I guarantee you, it's probably not the one that you were thinking about taking. So
Nick,
I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
What? This, all right, listen. This is such a I'm not on the Tua bandwagon whatsoever. Like I don't think Tua plays the quarterback position to the level of others quarterbacks in the league. With that being said, I actually don't even know where I was going with this, dude. This is not a. This
you
is
like
not,
his weapons.
I love what Miami's doing, right? Like the concept.
Yeah.
Right? Mike McDaniel is bringing this really fun concept, and I talked about it last week, right? Like it's almost a psychological thing, man. You got speed everywhere, and then you got this big target who's going to be just getting underneath Mike Gesicki, dude. Like Mike Gesicki's being overlooked tremendously because of all the talent that Miami has acquired, but Tua is still just big question marks, man. Just it's
there are.
It was an interesting pick, dude. It was an interesting pick.
No, I completely agree with you on the talent with Tua. I'm not sold on it. Honestly, if Carr was there, Noel, I would have been taking Carr. So you definitely snagged him. From what I was looking at, it was between those two, and if they had gone, I would have just been going, on the more depth range. But I feel like there's still just so much on that wide receiver range. There's still a decent amount of depth left. That's especially best ball, boom or bust type things. You can just pepper the wide receivers in later rounds and have a higher hit rate chance than with some running backs, which clearly, I've already stocked up on that end. So, and I had Waddle that kind of helped me on the Tua side, because if I can always just get those bonus points, that little stack. But now we're on CJ. I forgot you've got 2 picks here.
Yeah. CJ's got back to back, and it rolls right into me. So this is perfect, dude. We're gonna make all 3 of our picks here on the show. And
everybody, whoever is listening, we appreciate it a lot, and we're normally a little bit more organized than this. We've done drafts before, but they're live, so you're on there live drafting. It's going pretty quick. It does kind of create more of a rapid fire conversation. With this slow draft and commenting on it, I personally feel like, I don't know, it's like the anticipation of each pick is almost more overwhelming than the 30-second 1 minute clock.
For sure. So Mike, Mike's hitting up our chat so much. Mike, we really appreciate it, man, and I apologize. I am doing my best to keep up with it.
Because I don't see it.
we are just a bunch of average Joes, streaming out of my basement here. So it is
2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't have the tech support. I see Matt Matt's commenting, howdoiwin.com is comment. He was actually a special guest on last week's show.
Yeah.
So again, Matt, we really appreciate that. That was a lot of fun. And just to kind of comment on your draft. So you ended up taking 2 running backs pretty early. So you kind of
Who are we talking about here?
You kind of held up to your whole draft strategy. I was just talking about how Matt took 2 running backs here, Chubb and Montgomery, pretty early.
Oh yeah,
you know. So
yeah, he was on last week saying that if he had a pick, what was it, fall after the 5th or 6th pick, he would be taking Cup no matter what. And then sure enough, he takes Hurts at 112 instead of Cup.
Yeah, but he got
somehow
he got the rubber
Cup
band,
still fell to him.
Dude, the turnaround is so important. It is such an important asset in this. I mean, it is. That's why when we were doing the random, like, I was like, okay, I don't know much about Devy at all, so I figured if I could pick high in Devy, I'll be okay. So I'll take a later round here. And I was such a dumb man. I wasn't getting my notifications on Sleeper, like on the app, so I had no idea what was going on. All of a sudden, I jump into the chat. There's like all this. I want 14. I want 7. And I'm like, what? Like, what is going on here? Like, I didn't realize 12 was available, and I had took 11. If I had realized 12 was available, I would have taken 12, but I took 11.
I was hoping that would have slipped by, but in my mind too, I was like, man, it's the right thing to do. Is at least as it progresses, let people know what's available. And of course, yeah, how do I win? Snag 12.
So
yeah, those first having those back end, those pack 4 picks, really it is nice because having the top 5 on the Devy side, especially if on like what you were saying, you're not too knowledgeable on the Devy side.
Right.
Well, you at least know enough to where who are probably the top 5, 6, 7, 8 players
Archie Manning
that are coming out of college right now.
Manning,
yeah, bingo. That's
it.
That's
that's all I need to know, right? Yeah. So
it's a benefit there. You're not having to like stress out about, oh, am I making this good pick at the 14th pick of the Devy draft?
I'm taking a gamble. Hold on.
Oh, we got our first. He's rolling in the dice, ladies and gentlemen.
I really like this player, and I think he's going to really show his true potential this year. So here we go. I just hope his knee is good. But here we go.
No, that was.
Oh man.
Oh yes.
Before Judy,
nice.
Dude, I love it.
What?
Judy was still on the board. What?
What did you say?
Yeah, Judy's still on the board, isn't he? Or yeah.
No, I know. His response seemed like this was news to him.
Listen. You guys know me at this point now. Like, I value I value the number 2 wide receivers more than I value number 1s. I really do. And something tells me that Sutton and Russell Wilson are gonna just hit it off, dude. I think Cortland Sutton is again been in a situation with unproductive quarterback play, and I think that dude is a stud. So Matt says, damn, I wanted him. So Mike made a comment. Mike says, when 5 quarterbacks go off the top, he's like, it really affects the entire quarterback draft market. And I think this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, once the first 5 are off the board, man, everybody's like static after that. Like, everyone's pretty much level with each other. I mean, I'm not going to take Drew Lock here in the 6th round, or the 5th round, but it's like, I really don't think that there's much more value in the quarterback position after those top 5, man. I really don't. I think
I think there's people out there that have a much higher ceiling.
Yeah.
At that point, whenever you're in the top 10, you're looking at the ceiling that they have, or maybe on the other side where they have a much more secure floor, where you're feeling more confident. Hey, I know they're going to produce this much, but they don't have that ceiling, which is why they're not in that top 5, 6, 7. Those first 2 tiers of quarterbacks. Once you get to that tier 3, it is you don't have one or the other. You either have a ceiling but a really low floor, or that nice floor but not much of a ceiling. And yeah, you're right. That's normally, man. I absolutely would have been on the no quarterbacks until probably 10th round, 8th or 10th round. But I like this pie set up a little bit here. I feel like it makes it a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to delay here too because I want CJ to surprise us with his pick, just randomly drop it on
Well, he's
us.
scratching his head. He doesn't know what to do over there.
Right. Because I don't want to take certain people.
Well, hey, because you've got this pick, and then Tim's got the next pick here.
Yep.
So I'll take the reins for a second. Go on the Devy side. Kind of steer it away. Not really to go talk about certain players or anything, but for those who are interested in the Devy side in other leagues, we are working on providing. I'm working on putting together been watching a lot of film, a lot of different guys, rankings, reviews, come up with like a little bit of a personal ranking system. So whenever I'm watching the film, it's not just like, oh yeah, I like this guy, put him here. Like put why? Like how's his contact balance? How's that speed? What's his vision? What's the ability to accelerate in the pocket or to hit the holes on the running back side? But all these different players, we'll hopefully have that coming up some soon. I know we're all just, like you said, regular guys doing our everyday lives. So finding that time, especially with families, is always kind of a struggle. But I want to get it out there. Maybe I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so maybe I just need to throw it out there before it's actually done and let people engage and have fun and converse. But we're going to be trying to get something out like that, like a Google Sheet that we can put out. People can view, even comment on.
Yeah,
have some fun with it.
On the opposite side of that, I'm working on like not necessarily the Devy side of it, but more of the like NFL daily fantasy, like what is going on. I'm analyzing play-by-play data and trying to produce some sort of philosophy theory of mine on how all this stuff works and how the NFL really works and play calling and where production really comes from, etc. So yes, I am working diligently on that between, work, kids, family, yard work. Like I said, I cleaned my garage on vacation. What kind of vacation is that? So,
hey, it's a nice, relaxing mind veg out type of thing. Right. Just letting that mind rest.
But yes, we are.
And while we were saying that, yeah, I didn't know if you keep going there, but yeah, CJ also jumped on the QB bandwagon.
And I really didn't want to, but
bro,
the pressure got to you.
You were supposed to, dude. You were supposed to ride or die with me there. All right, we were supposed to go deep. No quarterback. All right, I'm sick of my guns.
Have like a spit handshake agreement?
No, I'm just
so
because I'm the only one without a quarterback now on our roster. I mean, in our entire draft. Mike did comment. Mike said that he's going to take Drew Lock in the 7th. So, just so you know, that wasn't a dig. I want to let you know, Mike, that wasn't a dig towards Drew Lock. If you tune into any of our previous podcasts, I'm a Drew Lock advocate here. I think the guy was. I don't think he was showing any love in Denver, especially when you got John Elway calling the shots there for however long that he was there. First couple seasons of Drew Lock, so. Yeah,
he has definitely been, and I'll say I have not been on that train there. Not the biggest Drew Lock, but yeah, Fitz has definitely been vouching for him. I'm hoping that maybe see something there because Seattle has an interesting situation with the talent they have.
I see talent where nobody else sees talent. If I could be a scout, I would. All right. All right. If you guys want to take the reins here, I'm going to start trying to figure out my pick. I don't want to share it on screen. I don't want people to see my thought process.
Your research.
My research.
Well, you have 3 minutes, so
I have 3 minutes. That's not.
Yeah, that's probably as long as I can hold things on my own over here with CJ.
Oh man!
Unless CJ's got more confidence in himself, there, you can have at that.
But
and he's left me hanging.
He was Mike was asking if we can take high school kids high school.
Yeah, man.
So you can take anybody you want, man.
Anybody. I mean, my mindset. I know there's a lot of leagues, Devy leagues out there that put the restrictions. And I get why on some of them. Maybe even makes it like you can only take junior, sophomore up. I mindset is if you're willing to wait for a guy to put him on that roster, that Devy roster, hey, go for it. I know I'm in a league where a Devy league is my big Devy league, or big money, whatever it is. Archie Manning was taken last year, so in 2021 he was taken before we even knew what college he was going to. He was taken off of there. If you're willing to wait for that, by all means. Yeah. Oh, dang. That was the other guy I was looking at aside from Tua. That was the other person.
This is all part of my strategy, and it's gonna work.
I did not think you'd be.
And it's gonna work. Watch, man. It's gonna work. Insert chaos. Insert panic.
I'm not questioning it.
Insert panic and chaos right now.
I'm just glad I snagged a tight end before you decide, because who knows what you're gonna do on the turnaround here. Like, golly. Well, to go back with what you were saying, Mike, and by the way, too, everybody joining in with us, this is exactly the type of thing we're wanting to have, build a community, chatting on there, jumping in, and hopefully I can actually jump in on the comments in the future so I can see them as Fitz reacts.
I'm so sorry. Like, I wish maybe I'll figure out a way to start throwing these up on the actual stream. Maybe
I just need another monitor, because you're good. I hate to. I know I'm not great with the multitasking part.
I can see Matt right now. Matt's last comment. You have all the tight end in the world, and I can just see it like, just think of like Jim Carrey and like Liar Liar. You know, when he's like, his hair is all like messed up, and he's just like, the pen is blue. That's what I see. I see Matt's reaction right now. That's his.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I know. But see, insert panic and chaos. That's exactly what I was looking for right there. Was that reaction?
You're just after the panic and chaos. You're gonna walk through and pick up the debris that you want.
Yep. Is that it?
The tornado has gone through to disregard even your own potential roster, and then afterwards you're gonna go in and, oh, this end table still looks intact. I'll take that. And oh, this works. You're just gonna kind of piece together the other positions.
You got it, dude.
Yeah, no RBs or QBs, huh?
I got no RBs, no QBs. Like I said, man, if I didn't have to roster two, I probably wouldn't take a single running back. But
well, at least I know who I'm not going to offer trades with for running backs.
Not to mention, I have three of the best tight ends in the game right here, dude. I'm gonna have. I got trade value now too. So
as I'll be honest, at the point of Kittle, where I was debating just waiting an extra round and taking Hawkinson at that point. Yeah. But yeah, it was that, what is that tight end value? And it seems about right, like the amount of tight ends that have gone off the board at this frame, it is about the right amount of tight ends I would expect. Not one team having three of them, but it's about the right amount. So
just I'm over here, Mr. Burns and dude, like, ooh,
You're just gonna have your entire Devy roster filled with running backs, so they just kind of pipeline and hope they hit.
I mean, but is that not what the running back in the NFL is, though, dude? I mean,
yeah, they've got 22 to 25, 26. 26 is kind of that point where
right. These guys come in. I mean, look at wow.
There's a lot of solid
Clyde Allaire, right? Like, dude.
Yeah, but he was overhyped coming out.
Yeah, but he popped off his first season and then just you know what I mean? Like, that's all these kids are, dude. I'll use them, use them for first season, their rookie season. They're probably gonna get a lot of touches, and then send them off to the land of misfit toys and bring in the next kid. That's my draft strategy. I mean, that's it. I just gave away my entire strategy.
Yeah, on the turnaround, anybody over there, don't worry about him taking a running back. Secure the tight end as fast as you can. Just go ahead and take him, because he's gonna snag it.
Nah,
no core QB. You're just gonna roll with like Davis Mills and
Don't Still,
and like Kenny, nothing wrong with Kenny Pickett, but like Davis Mills, Daniel Jones, you're just gonna kind of go with those guys.
I'm gonna plead the fifth here.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, correct.
we've been doing this podcast for some time now. You know the guys that I like, so.
and I'm gonna try to beat you to the punch on at least one of them.
Yeah,
So.
well, I would assume it's gonna be Davis Mills.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. That's it. Yeah, getting him in. It's always interesting to see where those types of quarterbacks go too in these situations, because clearly you have this big drop off at some point, like not on talent wise, but just like value, where people are like, all right, now I want to gain value in other positions because they've already went ahead and spent up on, like, I know the gentleman I had traded with, I got Brian Haven. He just made his first pick after he got the first. He had Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray, and he hasn't had a pick until 4-11 at that point. So at that's where you're just looking for those, value wherever you can get at the running back, wide receiver, and sneak in a tight end type thing, which is a fun strategy. I've definitely done that before, and it is it's almost like buying a lottery ticket on some of those positions.
Matt says that I'm gonna make him tilt pick again with that TJ Hawkinson. That's
Well, respond back to him and let him know, hey, try to make that pick while we're on air. And
yeah, listen, man.
Can,
man.
If tear into what you have decided to do.
If you can kind of expedite that pick a little bit, bud. I know you're there. I see you online.
He's thinking.
He's thinking.
Oh yeah.
You're only 7 minutes into your 4 hours, dude. Okay, that's plenty of time.
That's the best thing about slow drafts, though. I like everybody. I appreciate everybody in the league too, because I have definitely been on where it's like 4 hour slow drafts, and you are like 15, 20 minutes into it, and you already have like 6 people adding you, like, hey man, it's your pick, it's your pick. It's a slow draft for a reason. People got lives,
right?
We want to respect that, and I'll have some fun with it. But yeah, I also understand the anticipation and laying awake at 11 o'clock at night, like, oh shoot, okay, so when it does get to be my time,
slow draft, you got all the time in the world to think about what you want to do. So,
and there it is.
Oh man, he's
all right.
So he's going with the
Keenan Allen. All right.
Yeah. So kind of looking at that roster, you got Hurts, Cooper Kupp, Chubb, Montgomery, Keenan Allen. It's just taking a quick glance at it, going with the rostering a starting lineup and a solid, reliable starting lineup, like reliable players aside from Hurts. Hurts is that biggest, bigger gamble there, but he has that upper end ability with the weapons that he has in his legs. So maybe he does have a higher floor because of his legs. So yeah, there's a lot more consistency there. Yeah, I like it. It's fun to see some of the other strategies. I know. Where was I looking at it on here?
He says, "Forget."
Well, actually, I say that.
He says, "Forget youth. I'm here to draft the men."
The men are talking. Please step aside.
Oh man,
that is fun.
Man, that was awesome, man. We got to cover our picks. We got to chat about some.
Oh shoot! Yeah, we're already 15 minutes in.
Yeah. We got about 10 minutes left on the podcast here on the show tonight.
Yes, and once again, thank y'all for participating on it, because it makes it a lot more. It's definitely different. We have engagement usually, but we have structured what we're going to talk about. Kind of, we like to present different things, but at the same time, make it more banterish. And this was full blown banter.
Yes. This was a good time. So
very unique draft.
Oh, dude, it's a super unique draft. I mean, I'm having a blast with it. I love it. I look forward to. So, elaborate on the clock rules. Are you going to turn the clock off at some point?
Yeah. So that'll go off. I guess. Shoot. Yeah. Over here, it's almost 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Being on the West Coast side. So I normally I would think cutting it off around 10 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. I don't know. I know y'all are Eastern side, so we're completely.
I don't don't know.
opposite areas.
Yeah, what is that? What is that?
I
10
figured
o'clock
because you
to
turn it off, but I mean, it doesn't really make a difference at this point because if somebody took the entire clock, it would bleed into that time. So I mean, you could technically turn it off now.
Right.
Right.
It wouldn't make a difference because it's 4 hours. People can still make their picks as it goes. So that's my thought.
All right.
Yeah, and anybody who is listening in for that league, feel free to reach out with questions on it. I know I will be posting we'll be doing the Devy draft within like the sleeper channel. So we'll be commenting like who we want on the draft order. If you're up, you'll be added like we're doing now, and you'll just comment what player you're wanting, and I'll have an Excel spreadsheet shared out there for everybody to look at, keep track of, and you'll have access to. So that's
how
where these things lie. I wish there was a better system, man. It's in all these leagues. I see a lot of different Devy setups. There's a cool app, Fantrax. It makes it a little bit clunky if you're not actually playing in like a college football league or a campus to Canton style league. And sometimes they don't even have the players in there and keeping track of it. It can be a little weird. I'm really looking forward to seeing a developer actually come together where they have both platforms ready to rock and roll. You have access to all college and pro players. I don't know what kind of rights you have to purchase for that. I'm sure there's a lot of legal things to jump through, but whoever can get on that, I'll be happy to join that platform easily.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get this. I don't think we're gonna get this pick. I was hoping.
You're not gonna get the wraparound. I think Will and I both. We don't have 6-1 picks, do we?
Yeah, this is me in the 6. Man, what do I do, ladies and gentlemen?
Pat Fryermuth.
No, listen, man. As much as I love Pat Fryermuth, like I think I'm tight end out.
Yes, thank you.
I think my end is a little tight. Sorry, it felt like a dad joke.
Yes, it absolutely was a dad joke. Oh shit.
Oh man.
Well,
I guess
I think we've officially stalled out a little bit.
First round.
All right, well, hold on, DZ. Let's DZ just commented in the league chat saying YouTube won't let him chat back. It's saying I don't have a channel. Oh, it's because you don't have a it's because
I guess
he doesn't have a YouTube account.
And see, I'm not YouTube literate there. I figured you could just jump in and comment, but
yeah.
Well, feel free to join on the sleeper side here if you have any questions.
Yeah, we got about 6 minutes or so left in the show. So if you got anything that you want to say or suggest, man, we're all here. We the other guys are monitoring the sleeper account, so
yeah.
Yep. And we definitely have analyzed it. I know we'll go into it a lot further next week. I'm thinking are we trying to do a live draft next week? If anybody is listening and might be interested, or I think we're trying to do like a random just join a draft type thing.
If anybody checked out a couple weeks ago, we did this like spinorama. Like you had to pick a team from whatever the wheel of fortune selected. You had to pick a player from the wheel. I mean, I'm all for doing like a fun draft next week. Something.
If there's any ideas or y'all know of anything weird, crazy, clearly like you said, you spun the wheel. You had to pick from the whatever team it landed on, a position that to fill out a team. And I know Fitz just kept getting New England.
Oh
like
my God,
every
yes.
single time he was getting New England.
I have four players from New England on that roster.
Yes. So, but if y'all have other ideas, please shoot them out our way because we'll jump in. If you're able to join in on there, we can coordinate something because we get on weekly at this time. That'd be a blast. We just want to have fun, engage in some community, and just mess around a little bit. This is the exact type of thing. Watching these drafts happen.
Just to kind of comment on that whole wheel of what did we call it? Wheel of fantasy. That's what it was. The wheel of fantasy. The last pick in the entire draft, DJ lands on Indianapolis, and nobody had landed on Indianapolis before that. So this dude with the last pick in the wheel of fantasy draft gets Jonathan Taylor. It was
awesome.
Yeah,
it was unreal, dude. It was, I couldn't believe it.
Biggest Hail Mary. Yeah, that was it. It makes that fun though, like that, doing something like that. If you do like, I don't know, by position, or man, I saw one just when I was trying to figure it, like see, you can do a spin by draft class, so you can only pick players that came out of like a certain year or like draft class.
Gosh, dude, that's cool. Let's do that.
Yeah, and there's plenty of years. Obviously, you can cut it off at whatever point, but yeah, I think we should do something like that.
Oh, I mean, you figure like.
But we have to be knowledgeable on what players were. So we have to hold each other accountable. Like, oh, I take this guy. Nope, that was a year later.
Class of 2017. So like this is like 5 years, right? Like we could take like.
Yeah, you could just leave it in a 5-year window because we're not. We'd be stretching ourselves. Oh, I know somebody's commenting.
Oh,
he's got that focus.
I do. So this is JT. JT comments, and he's like, he'd be curious. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on some of the teams and strategies so far. Just a bit of commentary on what's happened or what's already happened. In terms of.
Oops, man! I was trying to go back and look at everybody's rosters on here.
Yeah. Well, we've
already... I know normally come with that analysis. If you had done our draft before and broken down kind of like the different spots, who got the best whatever wide receiver set, running back set, best values. Excuse me, kind of did that on the last one and definitely come prep. But like impromptu wise, there have been, I don't know if it's like actual strategies, but seeing the I know we already touched on it, but the biggest surprise to me on there has been the drop of the 2 year ago players that were like your top 10, absolute top 10 guys. Yeah. And now how far they've dropped, even guys like, he still went in the second round, but Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon in that, that combo, that's a great combo right there. But the fact that they fell to the end of the second, beginning of third, is kind of crazy.
This is JT. This is JT Mill that commented. Okay, all right. So I just want to clarify here. I love the Cam Akers pick there in the third round. I think Cam Akers is set up to be an absolute stud this season. So, or third round, right? Yeah, you took him in the third round. That was a really good pick, dude. I don't care what if anybody gives you.
Oh yeah, that's when it went. Akers, ETN.
Yeah,
he traded with me.
That combo when he traded with you, CJ. Yeah. I love, and I'm going to take on the other side is the ETN side because I mean, coming out of college, I was so excited to see him.
He selected ETN. You selected Cam Akers.
No, he got Cam Akers and ETN.
Oh, he got Cam Akers and ETN. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he got both there through that trade, and on this back end here, he's about to have the back-to-back with the 6.5, 6.6.
We also had Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith just came off the board too.
Oh no! What?
Yeah.
Damn it! I wasn't going to get him anyways. I don't have a 6th-round pick. He would have been gone before then.
JT, if you tune in next week, I feel like we'll probably have a better.
So it's very impromptu,
right? Yeah, I think we'll have a better idea of, breaking down everyone's strategy. And I mean, me personally, I could tell you where my strategy was going. I'm Tim Fitz. I don't know if you just tuned in. My strategy was to create chaos, in which I feel like I have. So that was my strategy. I just wanted to create chaos.
With your first pick, and then it really did it with your second.
And then I really did it with and then taking TJ Hawkinson just for shits and giggles at that point. So.
I mean, honestly, looking at that though, yeah, you could have gone in and tried to fill in more depth at that wide receiver, and if anybody's listened to past episodes, we're just huge. I don't want to say huge Detroit fans, but we're like really excited for what they're doing. And
listen, I'm on the edge.
Hawkinson, For Detroit season or with the next pick on here?
No, for Detroit season, dude. I think Detroit, like, people are sleeping on Detroit, man. Again, not even on the offensive side. Like their front four is really good on defense, dude. Their front four is young. I mean, I don't know what Green Bay is doing, but like I'm serious, man. Watch out. Like Detroit's gonna be gunning for Green Bay. Detroit, out of every team in the NFC North there, Detroit has the best possibility to dethrone Green Bay. Like they are looking really good on both sides of the ball, and they're just gonna get better, man. They really are. Like,
yeah,
the biggest
the addition of Jameson Williams was
the emergence of Amon Brown, like, you know, and then we can't forget like DJ Shark, dude. Like he is really low key. Like again, he's coming
very low key.
You know, like. This is a guy that looked like he was going to shine in a really bad Jacksonville Jaguars organization, and then he kind of ventured off to, where did he go to last year? He was in San Francisco last year, wasn't he?
Who?
DJ Shark.
Jacksonville.
No, he was still Jacksonville. He just faded into nothing.
Oh, I thought, man,
with what they were doing over there.
What am I thinking of? Then somebody else went to. Never mind. Excuse me.
I don't know.
Whatever. I also thought Jack Del Rio was. Interim head coach. Do you remember that? CJ? All right, I get confused sometimes. Well, who was it when John Gruden was relieved? I for some reason thought Jack Del Rio was the defensive coordinator, and I was like, I like Jack Del Rio, dude. I thought he was a really good coach. So, Slower, I love AJ Dillon there, dude. I really do.
Yeah, I was about to say. That's going to be a fun one to see because whenever he was coming out, all that unnecessary hype, you know, his strength and everything like that. But I was fully ready for him to kind of like flounder, like get in there and just kind of get overlooked and just drowned away. He's put in the work. He is getting at it. I mean, clearly he's doing something that is really, really exciting for. I think he's going to do something really fun out there.
I think,
especially with having Jones. So he's not going to have to be a Zeke Elliott, a Henry. I'm not putting him in that status, but they don't have to give him the ball nonstop because he has somebody there, which could benefit him in this style of play, you know, nowadays. And there's no receivers to really throw to.
Yeah, I know. And I just drafted their quarterback.
Just stellar. That was a stellar selection.
I mean, he always produced.
So you're going to be taking Lazard like in the 14th round then. 13th round.
If he's there.
12th round.
Mac Jones. All right.
Oh. So we got our first three.
Yeah, we got our first three quarterback. I mean, so to comment on what you're saying over here, JT, like it is obviously it's a quarterback super flex league. Like the strategy is quarterback, right? So you want to have the best value at quarterback. But as you can see, like we were kind of talking earlier, like the first 5 came off the board, and after that, I think quarterback is, like me personally, I feel like quarterback is just static after that. As long as you, at that point, as long as you have two starting quarterbacks, you're gonna be okay, like points wise. Like it'll vary, you know. Sure, Zach Wilson might come out and throw 3 interceptions one day, but he'll turn around and throw 3 touchdowns the next week, you know, like it. But
and we don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play or not, so you got some insurance there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, his second one was Deshaun Watson.
Okay, all right.
So that could be that could be like an insurance play there.
Yeah.
And either way, you know, you've got two young quarterbacks coming in, and with Deshaun Watson up in the air, we're going to go back to that Devy side. You don't even if you're confident with those guys that you have, you're not even really focused then on getting a Devy QB. You can just hone in on getting those young running backs coming in, and wide receivers. Because wide receivers really are. If you can hit on those in a dynasty Devy league, you have those guys for 10+ years potentially. Same thing with quarterback, but you just have a lot more rostering. So the value is there on that wide receiver side if you can hit on them. please take him with your first pick,
I'm not-
please.
I'm not all for Archie Manning, so
I know you're not.
No, Corey reads one article about how he played in a high school championship game, and he's like, he's
awful, man.
He's a bum.
He's a
He's a
bust.
bum. Get him out of here.
He's a bust.
How do you?
Best thing he ever did was being born a Manning.
Right.
Nah, yeah. Take him. You rate somebody perfect.
Oh man. All right, gentlemen, we're getting to the end here. We're actually kind of running past now. Again, thank you to everybody for that tuned in and everybody that's participating in this draft. I mean, as you can tell, we're just having a blast with it. We really are.
Yeah.
If Evan, you want to go ahead and close us out for the night?
Yeah. So again, to reiterate what Fitz said, man, we really do appreciate everybody joining in. It's what we want to build as a community. Just have fun, chat, throw out ideas, kind of just having that casual conversation. We also want to provide, we were talking about watching video film. Fitz over there doing the analytics. CJ and I are out there watching the college film and wanting to start getting some, insights out there for everybody. When we do so, hit us up on Twitter with NBTG_podcast. Follow us on there because we will start releasing that type of stuff on there just to, like I said, build that community. Definitely subscribe to us on the YouTube, and we really appreciate everything, the comments, jumping in. And yeah, I know last week we had howdoiwin.com in this draft was actually jumped in on our show. We'd love to have anybody else. So if you're interested in coming in, sharing your ideas, shooting the shit with us, please hit us up. We're always happy to have more on here.
You can hit us up on the Sleeper app too. I mean, we'd be happy to have every single one of you is on every, once a week type thing. If you'd be up for it, I think that would all be real fun. So,
heck yeah.
But
thank you all for so much for listening in, and yeah, we'll keep seeing you on the flip side with the Sleeper draft, and anybody else who's not in this draft, keep listening in. We'll have more to come.
All right, thanks all. Appreciate it.